Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Orla. In this channel I'll be reading short stories for children and adults who are interested in them. Nice quick reads. And for this video again I'll be reading from Irish Myths and Legends, stories retold by Joe Potter, illustrated by Erin Brown. Fabulous illustrations. So cuddle down, get cozy, and we will begin. Today's story is The Cattle Raid of Cooley, another Fionn McCool legend. Okay. Long ago, King Conor MacNassa ruled over Ulster, and Queen Maeve and her husband Ailill ruled over Connacht. One day Maeve came back to the castle with a brand new set of armour and proclaimed it to be finer than anything her husband owned. Ailill was outraged and quickly fetched a portrait of himself he had painted. "Your armour is very beautiful indeed, my wife, but it cannot compare to my painting. It took the artist 6 months to complete." There they are, Maeve and Ailill, bragging about their stuff. Maeve hastened to her closet and plucked out a gown made from the finest silk in the land. "This is finer than any painting," she said. "It took 4 women a year to make." On and on they went with Maeve and Ailill, comparing clothes and jewellery, chariots and coaches, even their horses in the stable. "My mare is far more beautiful than yours, Ailill," she taunted. Ailill thought for a moment and then took his wife to the field behind their castle. "I bet you don't have anything as fine as him." Ailill pointed to his prize bull. That's Ailill and his Maeve and the bull. The bull was enormous and muscly, with a shiny white coat unrivalled by any Maeve had seen. She did not want to admit it, but her husband was perfectly right. The bull was finer than anything she owned. Maeve stormed off in a jealous rage. This would not stand. There was no way Maeve was going to concede defeat. She screamed throughout the castle for her messenger. "Macrot! Macrot!" Fergus Macrot came running to her at once. "Macrot, do you know of any bull in Ireland that can rival my husband's?" "Why, yes, my lady," he said. "I know of a bull not only better, but twice as good as your husband's. In Ulster, Dara of Cooley owns a fearsome beast. They call it the Brown Bull of Cooley." Maeve sent Fergus Macrot with a company of men to Ulster immediately. She offered 50 cows and a large piece of Connacht land for the prize bull. Dara agreed to the offer at once. Indeed, he was so delighted with the deal that he held an enormous feast for Fergus and his men. The feast was a joyous occasion, with much dancing and singing, and Dara was having a wonderful time until he overheard a drunken Connacht soldier nearby. Dara would have been a fool to refuse Maeve, even if she'd only offered a milk cow. She would have just taken the bull by force if he had said no. Dara was furious. He stood on his chair and yelled across the hall, "The deal's off. If Maeve wants my bull, she'll have to come and take it by force." So the men arrived back at Connacht empty-handed. When Fergus told Maeve the deal was off, she was incensed. "Macrot, gather up all the men in the castle. We're marching to Ulster to get that bull," she said, stomping her feet in rage. As Fergus gathered the army, Maeve's personal fortune teller, Fidelum, came running into her chambers. "My queen, before you send your army to Ulster, I must tell you of a most disturbing vision I have just seen." Maeve rounded on her. "Make it quick, Fidelum. We leave for Ulster as soon as the horses are ready." Fidelum raised her voice dramatically and said, "I see him in the shadows, taking bite after bite, but try as you may, try as you might, you will never be able to fight. Not him, not he, the mighty one, Cuchulainn, Suleiman's son, who whole hosts will he destroy, no matter what magic you deploy. Heed my words, hear my song, hold back your men, or their lives will not be long." But Maeve did not care. She was far too angry to heed Fidelum's words, and she marched off with her army for Ulster without a backward glance. Fury led her on and on. She would have her prize if it cost her the whole of Connacht. King Conor MacNassa heard the army was on the move and sent out his Red Branch Knights to meet them. While on the road, Maeve ordered one of her magicians to put a spell over the Ulster army. As they were marching, the Red Branch Knights fell to sickness one by one, all apart from their greatest warrior, Cuchulainn. As Maeve's army marched towards Ulster, Cuchulainn terrorised them. Hiding in the trees along their route, he used a slingshot to kill hundreds of Maeve's army. Whenever he saw a straggler on the flank, Cuchulainn would rush forward and strike the man down. Little by little, Maeve's army was whittled down. Fearing Cuchulainn would kill her whole army, she sent a messenger to him, offering him land and money to join her army. Cuchulainn declined all offers and said he would stop only if he could fight Maeve's warriors one by one. Maeve agreed. This Cuchulainn had proven himself fierce, but surely one of her warriors could defeat him. Cuchulainn met Maeve's army by the River Dee. When the men saw Cuchulainn standing alone, they laughed. He was still a young man of only 17, and he did not look particularly fierce in the cold light of day. Maeve sent her warriors to attack Cuchulainn one by one, but he defeated them all until 100 men lay dead at his feet. Maeve ordered the next man to fight Cuchulainn, but he hung back in fear. No. In desperation, Maeve called for her greatest warrior. "Ferdia, attack him now!" Ferdia stepped forward, but told Maeve he could not attack Cuchulainn. "We grew up together, my lady. He's my brother and a great friend." Maeve was well aware of this, so she offered Ferdia riches beyond his wildest dreams. She even offered him her daughter's hand in marriage, but Ferdia was not swayed. It was then that Maeve came up with a wicked lie. "Ferdia, Cuchulainn has been saying you are a coward. He says you are hiding behind my skirts like a little boy." This maddened Ferdia, and he charged off to meet Cuchulainn. For 3 days the two warriors fought in single combat. However, they were both so skilled at fighting that neither gained any advantage over the other. The men were still great friends. Each evening they sent parcels to each other containing food, drink, and medicine to make sure the other was at his full strength. At sunrise on the 4th day, the two men met in the shallows of the River Dee. Metal clashed and water splashed. They fought tirelessly, but neither man could wound the other. The Ulster knights had by now recovered from their sickness, and they came running towards the river. They saw Cuchulainn fighting. The men cheered loudly for their champion. Distracted, Cuchulainn looked around at the men cheering. Ferdia saw his chance and struck Cuchulainn across the chest. Cuchulainn fell to his knees and his sword went flying out of his hand. Seeing this, one of the Red Branch knights threw a spear into the river. The spear floated towards Cuchulainn. Just as Ferdia was about to drive his sword into his friend, Cuchulainn grabbed the spear and put it through Ferdia's heart. Ferdia fell forwards and Cuchulainn caught him. He felt no joy winning, only sorrow as his friend died in his arms. The Red Branch Knights cheered and charged at Maeve's army. Disheartened by their champion's defeat, the army retreated, running for the hills. In all the commotion, Maeve sneaked off to Dara's land with a few men and stole the brown bull of Cooley. Maeve saw that Fergus MacRoth had told no lie. The bull truly was twice as fine as her husband's. It was almost twice the size, with a glistening coat and muscles that bulged from his legs and his chest. Maeve was delighted. She'd lost many men, but the prize was well worth the sacrifice. She arrived back in Connacht in triumph. "Make sure my bull is safe," she commanded her men. "Put him in the pen and make sure no one sees him. If any Ulster man comes to take him back, protect him with your lives." The brown bull was distressed and angry at being moved so far, and as he was put in the pen, he started bellowing. The deep booming noise woke Ailill's white bull, Finvinnoch. Cool name, Finvinnoch. And he came charging out to defend his territory in a burning rage. Fergus MacRoth ran into the Queen's chambers to tell her that the bulls were about to fight. Maeve came racing downstairs. This was even better than merely having the bull. Now, once and for all, they would see whose bull was stronger, hers or Ailill's. All the warriors in the castle ran to the pen's fence to watch the mighty fight. As the bulls are fighting, the brown bull and the white bull. The brown bull of Kilvie, Finvinnoch. The duel lasted all night, with the bulls clashing over and over again, locking horns and stamping their feet. The brown bull was much larger, but Finvinnoch was faster. For a time he managed to dodge the brown bull's blows by jumping this way and that, but in the end the brown bull overpowered him. With one mighty swipe of his horns, the brown bull finally impaled Finvinnoch and the white bull died instantly. Maeve and the men all cheered. Ailill looked in horror at the demise of his prize bull. "Well, my husband," Maeve said to Ailill, "I think we now know who has the finest possessions in the land." The brown bull was still stomping and charging around the pen. Just then he started bellowing again. He turned in rage and charged straight through the fence and galloped home to Cooley. But his capture in the fight had left him weak, and he had barely gone half a mile when he collapsed and his heart stopped. Maeve, open-mouthed, watched the bull run off and die. Ailill smiled and turned to his wife. "I think in the end, dear, no one was a winner here." The end. Now, That was the bull taking off. Yeah. Another great story from Irish Myths and Legends. Until the next one, goodbye.